The market is red hot this week, so we're not going to be looking at the top 10 hot cards like we normally do, but the top 25 hot cards. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Modern Horizons 3, Universe Beyond Assassin's Creed, or find a vast number of other great products on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or the comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. We have a lot to talk about today, so I want to get right into it as quickly as possible. Just one quick thing though, I do want to say thank you to one of our gold patrons real quick before we start the video. That is Marcos Ong. Marcos, thank you very much for all your support through Patreon. All your support for the channel just means a ton to me. Couldn't do this without viewers like yourself. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 25 is Thunderclap Drake. It goes up $1.11 to $3.90 for a 40% increase. This is from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Quick Draw Commander deck. It is quickly showing up now in a variety of different Commander decks, old and new. The most popular build where you see this currently is Stella Elite Wildcard, which makes sense, they are from the same precon. But another popular deck running this is around Riku and Many Paths from the main set. Number 24 is Metamorphose, up $1.25 to $3.25 for a 63% increase. This is an older uncommon that is yet to see a reprint, but what is driving the demand this week? You may remember about a year ago, Ristic Studies did a video talking about a shared deck format that has been used as a popular way to kill time in between rounds at tournaments. The format is known as Forgetful Fish, and these shared decks between players typically consist of 10 copies of Dan Dan, more on that card later, and several other cards that help players get their damage across with Dan Dan. Fast forward to this week, and Sam from Ristic Studies joined George and the Professor on a Tellurian Community College video to play a game of Forgetful Fish. As you can imagine, that reignited excitement for the format, and some cards that are very common in these decks started to jump this week. That is why Metamorphose is moving now. There were 2 copies of this in the deck they used in the video. Coming in at number 23 is Ashes of the Fallen, up $1.37 to $3.37. That is a 69% increase. This is a rare that is yet to be reprinted, but currently it does not see much play to speak of. However, there's an MTG Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed preview card that has sparked interest in this. The card is Altair Ibn Lahad, and Ashes of the Fallen seems to be a perfect include in a commander deck around this card. I would assume Ashes will continue to see interest leading up to the release of Assassin's Creed, but you never know, perhaps it finally sees a reprint in this new product. Time will tell. Coming in at number 22 is Spelunking. It goes up $1.40 to $3.50. That's a 67% increase. Here we have a card that is seeing a good amount of play in various formats. In Standard, it's in lands builds, including the popular Temur land combo and domain decks. In Pioneer, you find 4 copies of this in Jund Scapeshift. Modern Amulet Titan typically runs 1 or 2 copies on the sideboard, and you know that's a popular deck. Commander players are looking for this too, though. Some want it to upgrade the Desert Bloom Commander deck, while others want it for fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Yuma Proud Protector. I've also seen Spelunking in commander decks run a card for the main set, the Gitrog Ravenous Ride. As you can see, there is demand for Spelunking coming from several directions, and that alone would be enough for the card to move up. However, there's also a Modern Horizons 3 preview card that has some speculating on it as well. That card is Urza's Cave. Not to mention the fact that there's also a Modern Horizons 3 Simic commander deck called Tricky Terrain that is being billed as a ramp lands deck, so Spelunking could be a good include there as well, assuming it's not reprinted in that deck. Coming in at number 21 is Calidus Assassin, up $1.72 to $2.67. That is a 181% increase. Now this is from the Warhammer 40k Forces of the Imperium commander deck. Currently it only sees a little commander play. Typically when it does show up, it's in builds around Marneus Kelgar, which makes sense, they're from the same precon again. But now this is moving because of another MTG Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed preview card. This time, it's Enzio Auditore da Firenze. Many want Calidus Assassin for future commander decks run Ezio, and it is pretty unlikely that it will be reprinted in the near future since it is a Warhammer 40k card. That brings us to number 20, Hull Breacher, up $1.77 to $3.36 for a 111% increase. Here we have a card that has been seeing a lot of play in Legacy and Vintage. For example, it's in Legacy is at Prison and Azorius Stoneblade. Vintage is in the popular Jewel Shops builds and in Beseech Storm. Additionally, it is banned in Commander, but it does see play in competitive 1v1 Commander builds. But the real story here is about 200 copies of this were bought out all at once this week. That has led to some speculation in the community that maybe someone knows something to why this card may become hot in the future. Is it getting printed in Modern Horizons 3, making it modern legal? Is there consideration to unban it in Commander? Or is this just someone's random spec that they pulled the trigger on? Who knows? Number 19 is Hall of Gemstone, up $1.98 to $14.14. That's a 16% increase, and this reserve list card doesn't see much play to speak of, but being part of the reserve list has led to buyouts of this in the past. Some may be speculating that this could be a good upgrade to the Modern Horizons 3 Eldrazi Incursion deck, since it is a 5-color deck, but most likely will still lean heavily into colorless spells. If that is the case, I don't really think this is a great spec, since it only affects lands, not mana rocks, for example. And there are other commander decks that run green but also are mostly colorless that currently don't use this. Coming in at number 18 is Quakebringer, up $2.24 to $4.94. That's an 83% increase. This is sometimes found in the sideboard of the popular Pioneer Niv to Light builds, and it's also in the main and sideboard of 4-color Enigmatic Fires there too. But the main reason the card is jumping the way it is has to do with a commander build. It has an upkeep trigger, so many players have been picking this up for builds around a popular new commander from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. You know who it is. Obeka, Splitter of Seconds. Number 17 this week is Arclight Phoenix. The Guilds of Ravnica copy up $2.21 to $5.05. That is a 78% increase. The Ravnica Remastered copy up $2.36 to $4.42. That is a 115% increase. This gets a little commander play, and it's in Legacy Arclight Phoenix. Pioneer, you see this in Izzet Phoenix, and those are very popular, high-performing builds there. Of course, they run 4 copies of these. Now, though, there's another reason people are interested in the card, but it ties into a leaked card, so if you don't want to hear about leaks, I'll give you a few seconds to move on to the next card now. Okay, for those of you stuck around, Buried Alive was leaked as being part of Modern Horizons 3. If this leak is real, the card will become modern legal. Legacy has shown us how good Buried Alive can be in Arclight Phoenix builds, so it stands to reason that a modern build could rise from the ashes. Urbrass comes in at number 16 this week, up $2.46 to $17.80. That's a 16% increase. This has been a popular commander card in a lot of different builds, including Geierson Star and Kellermorph. It's even a fairly popular commander in its own right, but now some cards from Outlaws of Thunder Junction have made it even more popular. Some wanted to upgrade the quick draw commander deck, while others want it for fresh builds around Stella Lee Wildcard from there. Urbrask is in builds around a couple cards from the main set too, Taiwakeen Perfect Shot, and Marchesa Dealer of Death. Number 15 is Auton Soldier, up $2.59 to $9.45. That's a 38% increase. It is from the Doctor Who Masters of Evil commander deck, and this is a great commander clone found in lots of builds like Marco Obsessive Theorist, for example. But now, many players are figuring out that this is a good include in the new Obeka Splitter of Seconds builds. Basically, clone Obeka with Auton Soldier, attack with the Myriad trigger, and upkeeps. Coming in at number 14 is Crystal Spray, up $2.79 to $12.64. That is a 28% increase. This older card is yet to be reprinted, but it doesn't see much play to speak of, or does it? The Crystal Spray is being filled, or rather, it's filling some of those Forgetful Fish decks we discussed earlier. Now, they didn't run it in the build featured on Tolarian Community College this week, but nevertheless, it is a popular choice for Forgetful Fish. Lucky number 13 is Herald of Leshrac from Cold Snap. It goes up $2.81 to $6.88. That's a 69% increase. The only other copy of this card out there was a foil from Retail Mystery Boosters. Previously, it only saw a little bit of commander play. But with an upkeep trigger like that, how can you resist putting it in your Obeka Splitter of Seconds decks? Yup, another card moving because of Obeka. Number 12 is Pillage the Bog, up $2.83 to $4.40. That's a 180% increase. This new card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction is making a splash in multiple formats. In Standard, it's in Golgari Midrange and Jund-Land combo. Pioneer, though, is the big driver since this is found in the popular Niv to Light decks, but it's also in others there too, like Absent Greasefang, Jund Scapeshift, and Golgari Vampires. Modern, you see this in Jund Scapeshift. Plus, it's even getting some commander play too, typically in builds around the Gitrog Ravenous Ride. Number 11 is Court of Embereth, up 284 to 1642 for a 21% increase. This is one of the Wilds of Eldraine commander cards that was found in the set boosters. Recently, it gained some steam as an upgrade to the Fallout Hail Caesar commander deck, while other players decided to put it in fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Caesar Legion's Emperor. But you know why this and some other Courts and Grixis colors have been hot recently. Again, it's Obeka, Splitter of Seconds. Players and speculators have been all over good upkeep matters cards these last few weeks, and Court of Embereth is no exception. Now before we get to our top 10, just a quick reminder, this video is sponsored by FlipsideGaming.com. Right now, you can currently pre-order Modern Horizons 3 there. You can also pre-order Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed products there too, or just pick up any number of other great things that they have, MTG related or otherwise. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And it's easy to find their link, just check out the description or the comment section below. I have direct links posted there. And now, without any further ado, let's look at the top 10. Coming in at number 10 is Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch, up $3.49 to $16. It's a 28% increase. This is from the Ruinous Powers Warhammer 40k deck, and it was number 11 on our hot list last week. Since its release, it has seen a fair amount of commander play in a variety of decks. Now it's showing up in several builds around new cards from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Some are getting it to upgrade the Quick Draw commander deck, while others are putting in fresh builds around that front-facing commander from there, Stellarly Wild card. Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch is also in decks around some cards from the main set, Lila Undefeated Slickshot, and Rico A Many Paths, but the card pushing it the most should be no surprise considering Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch does have a good upkeep trigger. It is, of course, Obeka, Splitter of Seconds. Coming in at number 9 is Realms Uncharted, up $3.62 to $18.50. That's a 24% increase. This has always seen a fair bit of commander play in various builds, like Hazezan Shaper of Sand, for example, but of course Outlaws of Thunder Junction is causing this to jump now. Some wanted to upgrade the Desert Bloom commander deck, while others wanted in fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Yuma Proud Protector, but there is more to the story. Realms Uncharted will play very well with a card that was previewed for Modern Horizons 3 Commander. That is Planar Nexus. You may have to get it out of your graveyard, but there's a lot of ways to do that. Also though, there is a chance that Realms Uncharted could be reprinted in the Modern Horizons 3 Simic Tricky Terrain Commander deck, so keep that in mind. Number 8 is Angel of Indemnity. This is up $4.26 to $6.63. That is a 180% increase. This new Outlaws of Thunder Junction card has been popular in Commander, already showing up in some Angel builds, and many are comparing this to Sun Titan. It is a good upgrade to the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Desert Bloom commander deck. Of course, some are putting in a fresh builds around that front-facing commander again, Yuma Proud Protector. But there is another reason that this is taking off the way it is, and again, it ties into a leaked card. So feel free to skip to the next section if you don't want to hear more. Okay, I won't go into the deep detail here because it is a leak, it's not confirmed. But there was a Modern Horizons 3 leak that showed us a legendary creature named Shilgengar, Sire of Famine. It has black and white color identity for commander purposes, and if it's real, it will play very well with Angel of Indemnity. I'll leave it at that, but if you want to learn more about the card, check it out. It's on a lot of different sites. Coming in at number 7 is Hostile Investigator at $4.30 to $7.50. That's a 134% increase. Here we have a card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction's The Big Score subset, which does mean it has a lower pull rate. And it is seeing a lot of play in Standard and Pioneer. It's in the popular Standard Golgari midrange builds. It's also in other midrange decks in the format like Sultai and sometimes Orzhov. In Pioneer, it's showing up in mono black discard decks, and it is seeing a little commander play too. Ultimately though, Standard is currently the key driver here. Coming in at number 6 is Magical Hack, the 4th edition copy up $1.44 to $2.94. That's a 96% increase. The 5th edition up $3.59 to $4.99. That's a 256% increase. And the revised copies up $4.60 to $5.89 for a 357% increase. This card was also printed in Alpha, Beta, and Unlimited, but since those copies are so rare, it is hard to see true sales data, so I don't have them included here. Now, this hasn't seen much play recently. Sure, it might show up in something like an Orvar the Allform commander deck, but there is one other place where it appears, that is in the Forgetful Fish format we've been talking about. In fact, there were 2 copies of this in the build that was used on Tolarian Community College this week. Like we discussed, being featured there led a lot of people to want to build one of these Forgetful Fish decks, and many of the staples like Magical Hack disappeared off the marketplace. Coming in at number 5 this week is Ancient Cornucopia, up 784 to 1083. That's a 262% increase. Another card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction is the Big Score subset, so again, lower pull rate here. And it is seeing play in a few places. In Standard, this has been showing up in a new take on Domain Ramp, which saw play at the Pro Tour and other major tournaments over the last couple weeks. In Pioneer, it has started to show up as a 2 or 3 of in the popular Niv to Light builds. I've even seen some trying this out in Modern 4-color Omnith. Additionally, it is a good upgrade to that Desert Bloom commander deck, and I have seen some putting in a fresh builds around a card from there, Kiri Talented Sprout. Now, Ancient Cornucopia is in other builds in that format too, and ultimately, it is a good example of a card that was undervalued at its release. A lot of people didn't think it was going to be very good, but now it is seeing big gains after having some success. Coming in at number 4 is Leyline Dowser, up 865 to 899. That is a 2,544% increase if you're doing the math at home. This is from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Quick Draw Commander deck. Obviously, it is seeing Commander play and some fresh builds around the front-facing Commander from its Precon, Stella Lee Wildcard, but Leyline Dowser is also now getting played in Legacy as a Delver decks to hit things like Brainstorm and Ponder, and I have seen some trying it in other builds there too. Using it though, and as a Delver first took off in Japan, now it's happening stateside too, and that is why this card is so hot right now. Coming in at number 3 is Scorched Ruins, up 971 to 5799. That's a 20% increase, and this reserve list card sees a little commander play in a few different builds, like Hokori Dust Drinker for example. It is though a reserve list card, so there is some spec involved here. There are people that think it may end up being a good upgrade to the Modern Horizons 3 Eldrazi Incursion commander deck, and that's the main reason it's jumping. That takes us to our number 2 card. You knew it had to be here. Dan Chronicles, up 851 to 999 for a 575% increase. The Time Spiral Time Shifted copy, up 1091 to 1823. That is a 149% increase. And the 5th edition copy, up 1328 to $15. That is a 772% increase. This was also printed in Arabian Nights, but again, that copy is pretty rare, hard to track sales. By now, you know what's going on here. Forgetful Fish decks typically run 10 copies of this, which is what you saw in the deck used on Tellurian Community College this week. The extra awareness around this casual format spiked 4 cards on our top 25 this week. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Urza's Workshop. This goes up $20.70 to $33.69 for a 159% increase. This was one of the Brothers War Commander cards that you could find in set boosters. Sometimes it sees Legacy play in Mystic Forge combo, and it gets a fair amount of Commander play too. There you see it in Zulodok Void Gorger, for example. But now, this is another card that some think may be a good upgrade to the Modern Horizons 3 Eldrazi Incursion commander deck. But you never know, it could be reprinted there too. Alright, on that note, that's going to do it for our top 25 hot cards of the week. And thank you for joining us on this edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. But if you want to know what cards are moving down in value, maybe you're more interested in finding some good deals out there, then check out our video tomorrow where we look at the top 10 coldest cards. Until then though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.